What's up, everybody? So welcome back to my channel, Green Man Grow 7. I'm Sean Knight, and today I wanted to talk about propagation. So here we have my propagation box, and as you can see, it's one of those big boxes, and I have a small box inside with some cuttings. And I'm just showing you the outside. You can see the condensation from the moisture inside. And here I'll show you I have a Monstera cutting, a Philodendron, a royal queen cutting, and some other things in here. But I just want to show you my preferred method for propagation is perlite, because I have greater success than most people do with sphagnum moss. And so I just wanted to let you guys see this and talk about the possibilities of propagating in a plastic container, which most people do, and they call it the propagation box. I'm also going to show you a propagation bag where I've placed a cutting of a philodendron in there, but also over here I have a wet stick of a Hawaiian pothos, and I have two different alocasias that's here within the propagation. And I have a couple of wet sticks of some other things as well that hasn't really taken off yet, but I anticipate that they will. But I wanted to bring this video again because so many people think that the only method of getting plants is by buying the plant and spending, a larger sum of money, when you can sometimes get a cutting, and from the cutting you can propagate in such a manner that allows the plant to have moisture, not overwater it, but have moisture and humidification. I was about to say, I always laugh and say that's not a word, but we'll go with it. But humidity, so that the humidity is what allows the plant to grow roots. And so as you can see, this is just a bag that I have sitting on my counter, and a box. And as a result, those things are in there allowing, and I won't open it so you can actually see, because you can see clearly through the container that these are propagating. But I use perlite, and basically what I do is I just lightly moisten the perlite, and sometimes I put a little bit of nutrients in the perlite water so that the stem is actually getting nutrients and not just moisture from the water. And then I'm also going to show you, let's take a look at the bag where I've placed cuttings in a bag. The first propagation bag, if you can see, this is a large bag, one of those bags that you normally purchase that you put, large towels or comforters in. And basically what I did was put a wet stick of, if you saw one of my other videos, Constellation Monstera. And basically I put it in here in perlite. It had some aerial roots, and the aerial roots, if you can see a little bit of the aerial roots there, where the aerial roots are in the perlite getting the moisture, but the wet stick is sitting on top of it so that it's not getting soggy and rotting out. And as a result of being in here, you can see the condensation from the moisture on it, and that's actually what's needed to allow the wet stick to root and then start to get new leaves on it. And so this is another method. If you don't have one of those boxes, but you have any of these bags in your home, you can definitely use some of these also with the same method. And basically what I did was I just lightly moistened the perlite with some water and with some feed, and basically placed it on top like I've said. And then the moisture from the perlite is allowing the bag to have moisture that's going to allow the wet stick to be able to root and then give me new leaves, and then that's going to be a new plant. And it's cheaper than buying a larger or established Constellation Monstera. As most of you can imagine, those are quite expensive. And then over here in this second bag, I have the same concept with the pink princess. And basically when I purchased this pink princess did not have any established rooting on it. It had, maybe I shouldn't say it didn't have any, it had one little string. And the person I purchased it from, it was rotted. it was rotting out because it was too wet. And so I took it out of the soil medium that they had it in. And basically what I did was I cut off the rotting portion and I placed it in here. It had this large leaf and a small leaf. And since then it has rooted and given me a second leaf. And now I'm going to have a third leaf. And so basically that is what I have. And again, I just wanted to do this video to talk about propagation because there are so many different ways that you can get plants that you probably can't afford, or if you're not willing to spend the money for, like myself, I couldn't afford to buy a $500 Thai Constellation, but I was able to buy the wet stick. And then with this work and effort, I'll have my own Thai Constellation to enjoy in my home. It's just something to be said about this method. But I will say this, if you are a person who is seeking to propagate, some plants establish quicker. This is not an easy process, nor is it a quick process. So if you're looking for a quick return, you're not going to be satisfied with this. And again, the reason why I use perlite instead of sphagnum moss, everybody's hand to being a houseplant enthusiast. Everybody who approaches this has their specific techniques that work for them. Perlite works for me. I'm not opposed to sphagnum moss because I have used it before, but perlite really works for me. So go with what works, right? And again, I have them on my countertop in my kitchen area. And this is how I am propagating, and this is how I am getting established cuttings that are growing. And if you saw my Dark Lord Philodendron video, I did the same thing with my Dark Lord Philodendron that didn't have any roots. And now they're both rooted up and they are growing immensely. And so again, Thai Constellation, Pink Princess. Thank you for watching.